On November 2nd, 2023, the Call of Duty League announced the 2024 CDL schedule, which only included 4 majors. This year, they substituted a major for more weeks of online qualifying matches, and the Call of Duty community has not been happy after this announcement. There has been much criticism from all areas of the COD scene, from the Flank to the Optic podcast, even to Scump's stream. Since the Call of Duty League began in 2020, it seems like they've been following a downhill trend, and only having 4 majors adds on to that. So in today's video, I want to talk about the major problem that is ruining the Call of Duty League. When Call of Duty first came out, Major League Gaming was the front runner for competitive Call of Duty. They purchased a website called Game Battles, which was the hub for all competitive Call of Duty. This is where a lot of pro players that we know today got their start, was grinding these game battle tournaments online and making a name for themselves throughout the Call of Duty scene. Around 2007, LAN tournaments started becoming a serious thing. Like, LAN tournaments were nothing like they are today. It was more just like a big room with a bunch of foldable tables, and it was driven by pure passion from the players and the teams, and everything wasn't as franchised as it is. You could just form a team from having a bunch of good friends, go on and win the tournament, and that was that. But as the years went on, as more Call of Duty games came out, MLG started to become more established and started hosting bigger tournaments, and a few other companies alongside MLG, some that may sound familiar to you, like Gfinity, UMG, ESWC, started hosting tournaments, and it gave players the opportunity to compete for prize money, and that's how it was for a while. But fast forward to 2016, Activision purchased Major League Gaming, the CWL, also known as the Call of Duty World League. This change allowed some more stability to the Call of Duty Pro scene and made some significant changes to the previous competitive landscape, and it was run by Activision, MLG, and Treyarch. This time they put up millions of dollars worth of prize pool money and had an actual established pro division, as well as a challenge division where amateur players had the ability to compete and enter the Call of Duty Championship through a bunch of other tournaments. The CWL was pretty inclusive whenever it came to having an open circuit. People were able to play in the CWL if they were good enough and if they were winning these qualifying matches. Even going into CWL Champs, there was 32 teams, which included 12 pro teams and 20 online qualifier teams. During the CWL, the amateur scene was thriving, and I feel like the league was structured in such a way that not only pro teams could play and stay at the top, but amateur teams had their opportunity to get into the league and give some of these top teams a run for their money. And the CWL established a lot of structure to the league, and then we get to 2020. It was towards the end of 2019 where they announced that they would have a different iteration of the CWL, this time called the Call of Duty League, which pretty much switched everything up from the CWL and previous ways that tournaments were run. Activision essentially copied the Overwatch League, establishing a franchise-based model that included 12 city-based teams. But there was a major change this time around with the Call of Duty League because it cost $25 million to secure a franchise spot. And this led organizations like 100 Thieves, led by one of the faces of the competitive Call of Duty scene, Nadeshot, to hesitate to even join the league just because of the price tag. Like, not everybody just has $25 million sitting around to throw into the league. I mean, obviously you can get investors, but that buy-in is absolutely insane. The model was implemented in 2020, but I just don't think that the league-based franchise model suits competitive Call of Duty well, because it makes it less inclusive and it changes everything that had previously worked in competitive Call of Duty. It seriously just changes everything. Also, with the franchising of the league, making the teams a city-based really didn't work for the Call of Duty League. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna like your team's city. Like, just because I live in Florida doesn't mean I'm a not Florida Mutineers, Miami Heretics fan. And most of the time you talk to people, they don't even like the teams that are from their city. And that's just a small little tangent that I'm going on. But previous versions of competitive Call of Duty have worked, and it seems like Activision just kind of stepped in and said, oh hey, it worked for the Overwatch League, so it's got to work for Call of Duty. And we've had proven methods that have worked in the past with the open brackets and the open circuit, and even back in the day with the Major League Gaming, whenever they hosted tournaments, it was like a traveling circus, which was great for the competitive Call of Duty scene. Now these teams pay $25 million to get into the league, and coming into this year, we only have 4 majors. And the league said that to balance that out, they're going to give more online qualifying matches. So the way it works is there's going to be 7 qualifying weekends before each major. Even though there's more weekends, teams are playing just about the same amount of matches. For example, there's multiple weekends where Optic only plays 1 time per week. So they practice and scrim for 50 hours during the week and only get to play one best of 5. The game modes for the CDL season were also released, and we have another year of control. I'm honestly kind of surprised that Capture the Flag isn't in the rotation this year, but maybe after playing the game for a little while, if they realize that control doesn't play well, they could potentially switch back to Capture the Flag. You could probably tell I'm biased. I want CTF. I just want something else other than control, to be honest. They did change the CDL point standings, which gives more emphasis on LAN events, which is a major win for the Call of Duty League, but I just think that moving in the direction of having more online qualifying weekends just isn't a good move, and it seems like they're somewhat giving up. Another issue with the Call of Duty League is how top heavy the league is right now. Really, it's just the top 4 teams that are competing for first place. Every other team just doesn't have the roster to compete with these top 4 teams. And it just seems like a lot of teams are very unbalanced, and it kind of sucks because it limits the competition in the league. You have Toronto, Optic, NYSL, and FaZe. Other than that, there's really no teams that I could see having a top spot in the league. These are some major issues that I think are hurting the Call of Duty League, and the biggest issue that I have is the majors. You see what I did with the title, the major problem? Yeah, I'm gonna stop. It seems like they don't really understand the esport as MLG did back in the day. I think that the format back then worked, and even in the CWL with the open bracket worked perfectly fine, and it gave Call of Duty esport the potential for growth. I think that this new model with the limited majors and with the lack of proper care is just going downhill, and it could completely ruin Call of Duty esports. It's crazy to see the state of the league right now, and honestly, I don't think that the Call of Duty League will be around much longer, maybe like another year or 2, and hopefully they can fix it. But what do you guys think about this upcoming year with the 4 majors? I kind of wanted to touch on it because it just seems kind of crazy that there's only 4 events this year. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I know I haven't posted a video in like 2 weeks. I'm sorry about that. But I'm back on the content grind. So let me know what you guys want me to talk about in my next few videos. Leave it down in the comment section below. And also, let me hear your thoughts about what's going on with the Call of Duty League, because it's kind of insane. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's see what happens with the Call of Duty League, man. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.